love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't stop, just let me know. Don't stop.
All right, what is up, you beautiful, beautiful people? Good morning. Coffee time with Knock. Getting back at it. What's up, Sammy? How you doing this morning? The 420 Atheist OG. What's going on? What's going on? Hopefully I didn't hurt Hillary's feelings too much. But we'll be talking about real shit today. You know, it's funny because I tell myself that I'm not going to come back and just do the same old shit, but the same old shit is what I know best, right? So it's, of course, the very first thing I do. On the other channel, the first real video I make is a response video to Jamie Russell's wife and S.J. Thompson. Maybe a little less disrespectful, but still the same shit, right? And then, of course, I was just having fun with the stream. Like I said in the stream, I had found on the new channel, but it was an older channel. Yeah, old habits do die hard. On the new channel, I have like all of these old subscriptions. Like on Rage, I pretty much got rid of everything and just because I determined I was just done. I was done. I didn't care anymore. I was watching movie reactions, music reactions, so I filled my algorithm with that. 8 years being the Raging Atheist, my algorithm still has a little bit of that rage pop through, but I wasn't subbed to hardly anybody anymore. Maybe a couple people here on the channel. So over there, I have all of these old subs. So I was going through them, seeing what channels still exist. It's how I found out Nicholas Whitmire's not around anymore. The Mad Ducks isn't around anymore. Like all these old channels. And one of those old channels was Jay Spatchcock. And I was like, last time I was online, Jay Spatchcock, his channel was blowing the fuck up. He was getting thousands of views. He was growing extremely fast, covering Darth Dawkins. So I'm like, yeah, let me see how my friend's channel's doing. Doesn't look like he's done too much. Probably got busy in life, got away from it. But one of the things that he had done was a response to Hillary's response to my stream 9 months ago. So I started watching it, and I thought about like covering Jefferson's stream. Then I was like, you know what? Like if I'm going to cover this, I should just cover Hillary's stream. So Jefferson had linked the video, and that's how I found Hillary's other channel. I found out I was actually subbed to Hillary's old channel. I don't know if he still does work on that, but he must have pissed me off before because I had subbed to his channel on that older station. So yeah, I was just playing around. having fun, wasn't taking it too seriously. I did use the word fascist a lot, and that triggered people. And it didn't just trigger Hillary's, it triggered a few people. I had a commenter come in the comment section. I believe it was that stream, and say, "LOL, you only get 10 views." And it's like, for one, like I don't address that every stream, right? Like, and if you've been around, like Sammy, I know you've been around. If anybody that's been around this channel long enough knows why I don't get streams. Part of it is YouTube, demonetizing me, YouTube shadow banning me. Part of it is the flag campaigns I got from various Christians across the years. Part of it is my hyperbolic nature, and a lot of it was YouTube changed their policy to where when I first started doing YouTube, I could cover hate speech, I could debunk hate speech, I could contest hate speech, and it wasn't considered my hate speech. They changed their policy. I wasn't aware that they changed their policy. And even had I been aware that they changed their policy, my whole fucking channel was that, right? Like, my whole channel was combating hate speech. That was primarily my focus. So I would have literally had to have gone through and delete everything. And me and the people that surrounded me at the time, Allie, John, we all pretty much agreed that, no, we'll just take the demonetization, fuck the capitalists. And it was probably the worst decision I ever made on this channel, amongst a lot of really, really bad decisions. What's going on, Invicta? So, like, to that commenter, like, what I want to say is, like, you're never going to, like, shame me into stop doing this. People have been trying to do it for 9 years. I started off getting, like, 2 views a video. I kept making videos. I feel like the God conversation is the most important conversation in the world. It's the conversation nobody really likes having. People would argue, well, what Trump is doing is way more important. I would argue that the root cause of Trump's ability to do the things he's doing is religion. Is him utilizing the age-old tools that people have utilized to use people's religion to force his agenda. To me, this is the most important thing I could be doing. I could get 10 views for the rest of my life. I'm still going to do this as long as I can. As long as life just doesn't fuck me over. As long as I have access to technology. Because the way that I look at it is there's 2 types of people in this world. There's followers and there's doers. Now, people want to look at people like Elon Musk and say, well, that's a doer. And I would say, no, that's a follower. Elon Musk saw where the tides were trending, used to be a quote unquote liberal, saw where things were going, saw where the herd was going, and followed right along. That's not me. Never has been, never will be. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to do this because if I can just reach one person, which I know I've already done, and I can let them know that it's okay, that you're not the crazy one, that you don't have to have suicidal thoughts because you think that you're fucking insane, or you don't have to feel bad about yourself because your whole family has turned against you because they found out you don't believe in the same imaginary friend that they believe. If I can help one of those people, I've done more than most. If I can turn one person away from a lifetime of being shackled to an age-old superstition and bring them to a point in their life where they're using their brain and their logic instead of superstitious fantasy, well, then I've done more than most people in this world. It doesn't matter what I have. It truly doesn't. It doesn't matter what I've done in this life because I've already succeeded. And guess what? I've already done that many, many times over. So you're never going to shame me into stop doing what I'm doing. Your best bet is to take the Will Kincaid and Smokey Saint route. Wear me down. Attack me on a personal level. Find shit out about me. That's the best way to go about it. They did their work really, really well. I stopped pretty much, not counting the couple times I've come back, I stopped for 2 years. But I think that their work is probably going to backfire in the long run, because now I'm going to be a better representative. My mind is clearer. I'm not going to be as emotional as I used to be, because I'm not going to be drunk off my ass all the fucking time. I took that time and I didn't use it idly, but improved myself, improved my mentality, improved the basis of what I stand on, really looked and examined myself. Something that I think the right wing is starting to do in this country, because I'm starting to see things that I've never seen before. And that's what I want to talk about today. Yes, yeah. At my peak, man, I think the most viewers I've ever had in one stream was around 500. It was like a Matt Powell stream. So yeah, I mean, and that'll come back. I'm gonna spend my time building up the new channel. Videos hit algorithms way differently than streams do. And you've got to be patient. Like right now, I'm itching because, my video got like 9 fucking views. I think it's a pretty good video for a response video, but it only got 9 views. You got to be patient. You got to let that thing fester. Maybe I'll pick up another 10 or 20, and then I'll put another video out, and I'll start to build that algorithm, and that algorithm will start to recognize me. And I'm trying to start to utilize some of the things. Now I'm going to be incorporating more and more, but that's just going to grow. It's going to get more outreach. It's not going to be limited like this channel is here. I've just got to be patient, and it'll come. There's also other problems. I've been kind of blacklisted from a lot of the atheist community because, I took stances. Some of those stances were wrong. Some of them were right. One stance I'll talk about, the Jim Major stance, I was right. Even though in the long run, it proved that, I was wrong. But in the moment, when nobody really knew, or there wasn't any evidence against the man, I'm not going to sit there and cancel the man because people are saying a thing. No, you got to let it play out. I was the same way with Destiny. Destiny's a moderate. He doesn't share my politics. It doesn't matter. He's a strong debater. I'm not going to just sit there and cancel him because it's very possible that people see his star and they're trying to attach themselves and gain something from it. Let the shit play out. And I still don't think it's completely played out, but I stopped watching Destiny not because of any of that. I stopped supporting Destiny not because of any of that. I stopped supporting the man because he started blatantly attacking left wing. Like, we're supposed to be allies. Some of us left wingers are out here still defending you, and you're attacking the left wing nonstop. Like you're okay with their attacks of Hassan Piker's freedom of speech. Like, obviously you have no consistency or principle, so fuck you. But I'm not going to just sit there and cancel somebody just because everybody else tells me I should. No, I'm going to make my own fucking decision, come to my own conclusions, and I'm probably not going to try to cancel, quote unquote, cancel anybody ever, because I do believe in free speech. I will gladly call you a fucking retard, but you have the freedom to be a fucking retard. That's just the way that I look at it. Yeah. I'm trying to spill my coffee. Yeah, I got to get a lot better at that. I'm going to really start doing that. In fact, I was gonna say I'll throw it in the side chat real quick. Let me pull it up. But yeah, I got to start remembering to do that. And that's one of the things that I am really focused on. Which I'm not really applying it too much over here, but I do need to apply like the other channel thing. But just like really like doing the descriptions right, putting links to the videos that I'm reviewing, links to everything. I'm going to try to be a lot better about that this time, because that was one of the things that really held me back the last time. That's one of the things I didn't add to that list. It really held me back because I just want to do it. I don't really give a fuck about spending 20 minutes on a description to make sure it's perfect, right? Like, I don't care. And I need to start caring. But yeah, let me find it, and I'll throw the link in the side chat, and then I'll try to remember, although I am going to be getting out working today. I was going to work this morning, but forgot to charge my phone when I went to bed last night, so I had like a phone on 15%, so I wasn't going out this morning, so I'm charging that up, and I'm going to be working the rest of the day. So let's find the new channel. In fact, let's come over here. Where am I at? All right, so a new channel, Knock TV, at Nakasuchi. And that's ultimately like why I decided not to just start a new channel, is because this was the Rage to Reason channel. And it had that handle at Nakasuchi. So I'm like, yeah, we're doing that. We're going to run with this. So I just kind of deleted the few things that I had on this channel. The new videos here is up to 11 views. See, let it sit for a night. You pick up 2 more views. That's kind of how YouTube works, especially at the very, very beginning. And especially if you've been shadow banned, you ain't getting no play, none. I'm kind of waiting for a lot of people that used to watch me to realize that red dot's on again and that Knock TV is Rage, because they don't fucking know. And then just to give me a chance, like, is it worth it? I don't know. He was kind of a drunken asshole. Let's click. Oh, he's not a drunken asshole anymore. It's worth it. But new video. And I wasn't cruel into myself. I wasn't cruel to her.
A little bit, kind of. I got sucked into that in the Audis when it was.
I've never been like cruel to SJ because I have a relationship with her. I kind of find some of the things she believes in abhorrent, but I've talked to her personally, and I know that she's a really nice person. She doesn't really, she discriminates against us, but not to the extent that like she's not going to have us on or whatever. So like I'm usually pretty nice when I'm talking about SJ, to the point like I've had people comment that I'm too nice with SJ.
New, and I was young and rebellious and angry.
And I just happened to find this video, and Jamie Russell is on my Facebook and has made it a point to fuck with me. And he's one of the few, him and CJ Cox are one of the few Trumpers that are still on my Facebook. So like it really stands out, their shit on my Facebook. So I decided to fuck back a little bit. I found this, and I was like, all right, we can fuck back a little bit. He was in the hospital yesterday, so I don't think he's seen this yet. He does watch this channel, so Jamie, check it out, bro. Check it out. Let your wife check it out. A little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. That's all I'm going to say. Still the same old knock. Still the same old knock. Who am I fooling, right? What's going on, everybody? Coffee time. Excuse me. Yeah, so I am seeing shit that I've never seen before. This first video I'm going to watch, let's go back. Supreme Court ruling, this gerrymandering thing. It kind of backfired against them already, and you would have thought, all right, this will teach them. They're still at like 3 seats ahead, but in the whole gerrymandering war that's going on right now, 3 seats ahead if the Virginia thing holds, which I expect it to hold. I know a lot of conservatives are out there saying the conservative Supreme Court isn't, because I believe Virginia's Supreme Court is conservative, majority conservative, that they're not going to uphold it. But I actually think that they will. But we'll see. But as long as it holds up, they're only up three seats in this gerrymandering war so far. And it should have showed them, because like they thought they were just going to be able to run rampant and just gain a lot of seats. 50 years of guaranteed Republican rule, as Donald Trump put it. They didn't really expect Democrats to fight back, and quite honestly, I didn't expect Democrats to fight back. Why? Because Democrats never fight back. I have never seen Democrats fight back until now. Now, I think most of us would argue that most of what they're doing isn't nowhere near enough, but they're fighting back. It's never happened before. This is kind of a first in my lifetime, at least since I turned to being a Democrat way back when I was like, I don't know, when did 9/11 happen? I was like 19. Never seen it. And what they don't understand, like they're all like patting themselves on the back because this and I'm going to say it, traitorous Supreme Court, the national Supreme Court we have, they're all like, it's traitorous what's happening on that court. And these Republicans are all patting themselves on the back. Now we can gerrymander for real. Now we can be the racist fucks that we really are. And you know, like they just don't think, because one of the things that Trump was really successful at, that they really should have hyper-focused on, was getting black vote. Like, that was another first in my lifetime. Republicans actually getting the black vote. More and more of it. And if they'd have just hyper-focused on that, man, they could have really fucked the Democratic Party for a really long time. But they didn't. And now they're just showing every black person in America what they really think of them. Because they can't see the big picture. They only have that tunnel vision of what's right in front of them, what they can almost feel in their hands as they snatch it away from the rest of us. And they're so fucking stupid, because they still, despite Democrats actually fighting back, now they hand Democrats the one thing they need. I haven't read the ruling, but pretty much the one thing they need to really have the justification to go full tilt and gerrymander. Like, you have to realize Democrats have been the ones trying to eliminate gerrymandering. And they have built-in rules against themselves in their own states. Now they can get rid of all that shit. And Republicans just don't see it. You know, what Louisiana is doing is horrible. Stopping elections after they start. But now you've set that precedent, and we've got to do it too. You know, there can't be a gerrymandering war if there's not two sides, Republicans. And they just don't get it, because they're stupid. They're bad at being authoritarian. They've wanted to be authoritarian so long. They never took the time to think about, like, what's the best way to get there? And what's the best way to keep it once we're there? Because they're just stupid. They're power hungry. They're greedy. These people present themselves as the party of family values, and yet it's all about me. And that's why ultimately they're going to lose. And that's why we see them splintering into 1,000 fractious pieces right now. Because it's me, not us. And they had a chance to be us, right? They had a coalition. Now, I personally think Donald Trump cheated to win this election, and I think that there's valid scientific data behind it. One of these days I'm going to cover it. But you can't take away from the fact, like, the dude had built a coalition. He had more black voters voting for Republicans than in a long time, since pretty much Republicans were Democrats. He had the youth vote. He was getting the educated vote. And he threw it all away. And they're throwing it all away for this, for 50 years of rule. And they're not even going to get it. Because they fucked up. They are so disliked. They have turned their own base against them so much that their own base is not going to vote for them. They're probably not going to vote. Most of them aren't going to vote Democrat, but they're not going to vote for them. Oh, it's beautiful to watch. Things are changing. Everything is changing. But let's check this out. Let's see. I didn't watch too much of this. We're not going to watch too much of this. I just wanted to talk about it today.
What is the light? Today is exactly 6 months until the midterm elections. And with so much at stake for President Trump
What's
and
up,
the
Theo?
future direction of the United States,
Thank you.
what is the likelihood Democrats can win back one, if not both, chambers of Congress? We'll break all that down this hour. But given that this past week there was such huge news impacting the races for the House and the Senate, with a major jolt upending a critical primary and one of the nation's marquee Senate races. And also the Supreme Court blowing up how congressional maps can be drawn, giving a huge boost to the GOP and upending the race for the House, also potentially changing that institution for decades to come. So how will voters respond? And will Trump drag down his party or be fixated with political retribution at the ballot?
I had to say, I hate that little, like, it's like the girliest fist pump I've ever seen in my fucking life. Like, this dude is supposed to be like the emperor of alphas, right? And this little Like, what the fuck is that?
Box, which he is seeking to exact on Republicans beginning in Indiana this week. We have an excellent group of
Oh, yeah, I
reporters
got to
break
remember. Somebody told me, like, this Top Chat thing isn't new, but, like, me having to go up here, right? And I think they're right, like, the Top Chat isn't new, but me having to go up here and click live chat just to make sure I'm seeing all of your chats out there, I have never had to do that before. I have never had to do that before. That's got to be new. That's got to be, maybe it was around 9 months ago when I was streaming and I just didn't notice it for that, like, 2 weeks, but I have never had to go. Or maybe I have, and I just never noticed it, and that's why all these people forever have said, you know, Nakasuchi never responds to me. Maybe I'm just not seeing their chats. Maybe it has been around forever, but I have never had to, until I saw Cerberus X say it the other day, click that little arrow, hit live chat to be able to. Maybe I did, and I just didn't know it. But I thought, you know, that's got to be new, right?
all this down, including NPR's Tamara Keith, CNN's Jeff Zeleny, and Deirdre Walsh from Notice. Good morning to you all. It's great to see you.
Morning.
Jeff,
What's
you've
up,
been
Will Freeman?
digesting the map of these district lines all week long because it is so significant. It can impact the race for the House.
All right, so yeah, so that live chat thing has been annoying me for years. Yeah, so obviously, so I guess I just never noticed it before, and that's probably why I have, like, I can't tell you how many times Joe was like, I was talking shit to you and you never responded to me. Like, bro, I just didn't see it. Like, I didn't see Hillary's email in the chat the other day, or I would have been responding to him. I'm trying to look at chat more than I was before. And responding more than I was before. That's going to be like an emphasis. That's going to be a focus.
We've been through this gerrymandering war, unprecedented, really. We have not seen this happening in this mid-decade, state-by-state fight that's been going on at the beginning of this cycle since Trump began that fight last year in Texas. You can see on your screen. Republicans right now have an advantage in that ongoing gerrymandering role by about 3 seats. But then the Supreme Court steps in this past week, limits the Voting Rights Act, changes how minority-majority districts lines can be drawn. And now we're seeing several state legislatures trying to help Republicans. You can see on your screen there, these are what's happening.
Yeah, so like they know the writing's on the wall. And like let's say like Democrats don't respond to any of this, right? Like they've done what they're going to do. Or let's say like Democrats hadn't done anything. California didn't redistrict, Virginia didn't redistrict, the other one didn't redistrict. I can't remember the other state. I still think they lose. I just still think they lose. Because I would say the majority of their base, MAGA, is out. America First is out. There's only the Zionists left, or people that just Trump stand so hard, you know, like they would literally sell their soul to the Satan they despise so they could suck Trump's dick. That's all that's left. That's all that's left. And I'm going to show you that. That's going to be last. We're going to look at a little Valhalla. I'm not going to look at his chat from last night, but his chat from last night blew me the fuck away. It blew me the fuck away. I went immediately on my Facebook and talked about how everything is changed. We live in a new America. Trump, he thinks that he created a new America, and he did, but it's not the America he thought he created, and it's beautiful and scary at the same time. Scary at the same time. Hopefully, I have enough time to talk about all of it. I've got about an hour and a half left. All right, so that's pretty much what I wanted to look at right there. Like, this gerrymandering thing is probably going to backfire against them. It already has. And again, like I said, let's say we have done nothing. I think that only kind of, you know, evens the field. Like, you got to cheat because you're so unpopular just to even the field. But we have responded. For the first time in my life, Democrats have responded. Never seen it before. Now, leadership still needs to be completely kicked out, and we need to reelect new leaders, progressive leaders. But baby steps. Baby steps. All right. So this next one, again, something new. It's never really happened in my lifetime before. Now, my entire lifetime, I have heard Republicans talk about how free speech is like right up there with the Second Amendment, right? Like it's the only two things that really matter, guns and speech. Now, mind you, it's been fairly apparent, and we've all talked about this, that my entire lifetime, as they have been these free speech warriors, they go about the business of limiting left-wing speech. Now, I'm not saying left-wing doesn't do that too. Left-wing is notorious for being speech warriors. But I'm saying it was always a ploy before, right? But now they just attack free speech openly and blatantly. And again, Republicans just don't realize the ramifications of that, of just letting the cat out of the bag. Because now, for one, you don't get to be free speech warriors anymore. As Ben Ferguson finds out kind of here, like, people got to start going hard at these people. You know, I think his name is Isaiah Martin. There's a clip out there of him on CNN. I thought about finding it and playing it here, where he asked the question. You know, there's one question that's going to defeat all of these free speech warriors. As they're crying for Jimmy Kimmel to apologize. He was over the line, but I believe in free speech. He was over the line. You know, we can say the N-word, but he was over the line. One question. And it is, when has Trump ever apologized for anything? You know, and the fools on CNN, when Isaiah Martin asked the question, well, they just walked into it. Donald Trump has never made fun of somebody when they died. like fucking idiots walked right into the shit. Because yeah, he has a lot. So these free speech warriors no longer believe in free speech, and they don't hide it anymore. They never believed in free speech, but they don't hide it anymore. And that's a first. Now they're going to go around and try to pretend like they're still free speech warriors. I revived comedy. Comedy's alive again. It was dead. Woke is dead. You can't say that, Jimmy Kimmel. Everything is changing.
Do you think that this time is different?
Well, I think certainly Donald Trump hopes it's different.
Excuse me. You're not wrong, Theo. You know what? I've never tried, but I have noticed a few times watching streams back. I'm like, man, I kind of sound like Alex Jones.
Different because this is his opportunity to actually try to win this fight. I mean, there's nothing that enrages him more than being beaten. And that's exactly what happened last fall, which you're referring to, which is that after the FCC sort of jawboned ABC into.
Let me turn it on. That's a great point, Theo. Fascists never understand free speech. Point blank, you know, that old conversation, one of the earlier conversations me and Smokey Saint ever had, where I went on a stream and they were using the N-word, and they got so mad at me because my argument was that you can use the N-word. You have that freedom of speech. But there's other freedom of speeches too, and there's repercussions. And yeah, you have the freedom of speech to use the N-word, but I have the freedom of speech to call you a fucking racist. I also have the freedom of speech to punch you in the fucking face. Now, some freedoms come with penalties, and that might be one, probably will be one that I'm going to pay a fucking penalty for if I utilize that freedom. But I have that freedom. If you want to say that word, I have the freedom to be offended by that word. I have the freedom to call you a fucking racist, and I have the freedom to fucking punch you in the face if I want to, and if I want to take the charge and pay the bail. And if you want to punch back, then we can take it to the next level. Because fuck it, you're a racist. That's called freedom of speech. It's reciprocal. It goes both ways.
Trying to get Kimmel off the air. They did so for a week, and then he was, after a massive backlash, he was brought back on, and that was the first really, I don't know if it was the first.
And I just had to tell y'all, I feel so bad for you if you have to keep it on the DL. If you've experienced it and you experience it every morning, you have to keep it on the DL because you live in a state that's fascist as fuck and doesn't let you smoke weed. But the best combination in the world, always has been, always will be, coffee and weed. Can't fucking beat it. Can't fucking beat it.
But it was one of the most important moments when Donald Trump was trying to go after not only the media, but law firms and higher education when there was a real backlash and he was unsuccessful. And I think I talk to people around him that he is very eager to undo that defeat, and he wants another.
So, like they just can't learn, right? It wasn't just the left giving Donald Trump backlash over Jimmy Kimmel the first time. It wasn't. There were some consistent free speech warriors out there, and still are. They were like, wait a minute, bro. This isn't us. Like, you literally brainwashed me with the whole free speech thing. What the fuck is this? Like, do they not understand? Like, I'd say like 20% of their base through that alt-line pipeline got sucked into that alt-line pipeline because of freedom of speech, because they thought that their speech was being impeded by leftists. They can't see it. They can't understand it. Like the political capital that they are losing with every day, every breath that they take, every day that they spend in the White House, contradicting 50 years of Republican talking points, Republican propaganda, Republican brainwashing. It's called the horseshoe effect, and I'm planning on doing a video on it because they got it right and they got it wrong at the same time, and I think that needs to be clarified. But the horseshoe effect is coming around, and it's a very true thing. And now both sides are starting to say the same thing. It's another first. We're going to get there. For the first time in my life, I'm starting to see right-wingers speak truth. Never seen it before. I've never seen it before in my entire fucking life. Even when I was a right-winger, I was one of the motherfuckers out there telling lies all the fucking time. Way back in the day. And I wasn't even involved in politics back then. It's just naturally. Like, to you, the lies are the truth. So you think you're telling the truth. And in that scenario, you're not actually lying because you think you are a truth teller. You think you're giving people the truth. So you're not a liar. You're a tool. And that makes people angry. Like once they wake up to that makes people angry when they realize they've been a tool. Like people wonder, why did leftists in Michigan not vote for Kamala and cost her Michigan? Because when you use people as a tool and they wake up to that, they don't give a fuck. People aren't tools. They're people.
Once another shot at Kimmel, and he was obviously upset about what he said, but that was I don't think that it was an actual fear of that he was calling for violence.
So, yeah,
Wow.
Look,
All right, so that is the most common sense thing in the world, right? Everybody knows Jimmy Kimmel wasn't calling for violence against the president of the United States. He made a joke. People have said it's a joke and bad taste. I'm like, no, it's not. It's a joke that Donald Trump makes himself, and he's made it several times. He'll be next to Melania and talking about how she's going to outlive him, because of course she is. It's not a joke and bad taste. But Ben Ferguson's reaction there, like it's the most common sense thing. Like, he is going to actually take the position that Jimmy Kimmel was talking about a future assassination. An assassination attempt that didn't happen yet. Like, Ben Ferguson is a fucking joke.
It's amazing that we sit at this table and everything is Donald Trump's fault. And when you call and put up a picture of the First Lady and you laugh about her being a widow and her husband being killed who's already been shot, that somehow that is Donald Trump's fault and he's mean to Jimmy Kimmel and wants Jimmy Kimmel gone. I don't know who you talked to the White House. I'm around the White House.
Yeah, good point, too. Theoretically, you also are the channel owner and can set a house order not to use racist slurs. Totally legit. Yeah, exactly. And beyond that, that can apply in life. Like, you can set those standards. And if people break those standards, you can get those people out of your life. It's what my family doesn't understand. It's like, well, we're family. Politics shouldn't matter. Well, no, politics does matter. You've been lied to and deceived into thinking that it doesn't. And just because we have the same bloodlines doesn't mean that we are the same. No, if you're out there propagating that leftists need to be locked up, leftists don't need to have their freedoms, if you're advocating that LGBTQ people shouldn't be able to marry or should have to pretend to be something they're not, and like we're literally full circle back to the electroshock treatment for gay people conversation. Like, I think the Supreme Court just ruled on that shit, didn't they? And of course it wasn't the ruling we wanted. It's... I lost track of where I was going with all of that, but it's, like, to the theme of my stream, people aren't buying it anymore. People are waking up to it. I can hear the puffs because I got the thing too close to my mouth, and I really need to find my thing I put over my microphone. I have no idea what I did with it, except for I know I didn't throw it away because it belongs to my microphone, and I don't throw that stuff away. But in regards to my stream, like, people are awakening to it for the first time. Now, I'd really like to visit the South and talk to people in the South. It's been, it's got to be 20 years now since I've actually visited the South. It's been so long since I've been there. I'd like to talk to my dad, see where he stands, see how he's feeling. Because my dad was one of those people that was going around like, liberals are the worst people in the fucking world. Like, really, really awful shit about liberals. And me and my brother, we had to be like, Dad, like, we're liberals. All the things you're saying about us. And it eventually has led to the point that I don't speak with my father anymore at all. I haven't spoken to him in about 2 years. About a year and a half. Played out very publicly on my Facebook page. If you're on my Facebook page, there's a very good chance you saw that argument with my dad. You're not the same. Yes, you are my father. You are my father that goes out of your way to say that you're not a racist. Because you had black employees. You also hang around with racists. You also have complete and utter disdain for gay and trans people. We are not the same. I'm not going to be silenced like you want me to be silenced. We are not the same. Just because we're family, we're not the same. And again, I forgot where I was going. I had a point for all of that, but I'm smoking weed like I do every day.
Promise you a lot more than you are. The president has not talked about this at all.
Well, I also...
At all. Like,
Sure.
It's on the list of things he gives you know what about, it's down here. But when you go on TV...
The thing that he sent a Truth Social post about this?
After it was said, you can respond. And by the way, if this was a joke,
She
Jimmy
wasn't
Kimmel could have immediately been a comedian and said, hey, in light of what happened tonight, that was a joke. I apologize for it. I'm sorry.
Well, it's
because a real
Monday.
comedian would say,
Well, it's
but
Monday.
he didn't. And you want to
Hold on.
no, you
But
would
it's
do it
Monday
immediately.
night.
At
I
Twitter,
mean-
I can tweet right now on your show.
But hold on. I think the
He
question
doesn't.
I have for
He
you-
knows he's.
So now Republicans want comedians to apologize. We've come full circle. And I honestly can't ever remember a single Democrat ever in the history of my life being like, Dave Chappelle needs to apologize. I don't think has that happened? I don't remember it happening. Like, what the fuck have we come to? You know, the most frustrating thing about all of this, right? Like, as these people awaken, and to some people do. Some people do. Some people realize we've been right all along. You can't, CJ Cox does this. You can't criticize Trump in one breath in the same manner that leftists have been criticizing Trump for a decade. And then in the very next breath, talk about how Democrats are everything that's evil in America, right? Like, you just can't do that anymore. It doesn't work anymore. CJ, I know you're probably listening, or you'll probably hate watch whenever you wake up, whatever the case. It doesn't work for you, bro. It doesn't work for you. Like, you are, like, everybody sees your hypocrisy now. This isn't 2016 in the alt-right pipeline that probably sucked you in as a 12-year-old. This is 2026 and people are waking up to it, bro. People are waking up to it.
He's not going to get fired, but he wanted her to be a widow.
Do you think he was referring to Donald Trump being murdered, or do you think that he was referring to a 56-year-old woman who is married to an 80-something-year-old man?
I think when you've been shot at 3 times and now, or this being the third and 4 different times he would try to kill you, yeah, I'm going to go out there and say Jimmy Kimmel's a smart guy, and I think he's saying a widow.
Like, literally taking the position that Jimmy Kimmel was talking about an assassination that was going to happen the next day. An assassination attempt that I think it was 2 days later. I think it was Saturday. The Jimmy Kimmel thing happened on a Thursday, right? Taking the position that Jimmy Kimmel did that on purpose, that he knew it was going to, like, are you saying that Jimmy Kimmel organized it? Because I think the next shit we're about to watch, the last shit we're about to watch, is going to kind of prove that they're lying about everything. That's why I put on my thumbnail, why lie? There's only one reason why you lie. It's because the truth is unacceptable to you. You think that the truth is going to damage you. And the truth of the matter is they set that shit up. Their approval ratings are in the gutter, and Trump wants his goddamn ballroom. They had done it before in Butler, and they did it again. Simple as that. That's the truth of it. All right. I'm not going to watch everything. Like I said, I've got about an hour left. And this is the main course. This is the main change that I'm seeing. So I've never seen, like, none of us in the Trump era has really ever seen anybody go against Trump and survive it. And if we see anybody go against Trump, it's the lone wolves. It's the Liz Cheneys, a couple other people that were tired and then would go at Trump. And there was the Never Trumpers, like the Bulwark Network, that left the Republican Party and went at Trump. But MAGA has never went at Trump. Trump has, up to this point, has always been right that he could, what did he say? That he could be on Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and people would still vote for him. He's always been right about that. But not anymore. Not anymore. This is the first time in the MAGA era that people are not only breaking away from Trump, but they're doing it, and they're doing it successfully. They're keeping their audiences. Thomas Massey's probably going to get reelected. At least the last time I looked at it, he was doing pretty well. Like, MTG, I think everybody, Tucker Carlson wants to run for president, and Tucker Carlson is dangerous. Don't get me wrong. I think MTG is playing the same card, and I think she's doing it better. Honestly, I think she's doing it better. I think MTG is going to get that America First crowd. Now, right now, like people like some, Valhalla, like we're going to watch. There's still more in the Tucker camp. But MTG's throwing haymakers. Everybody else is just punching. If they're not just throwing little petty slaps. She's trying to knock a motherfucker out. And whatever you think about MTG, I don't trust the woman for nothing. It's like David Hogg said. Like, if you start your career chasing down shooting victims of a school shooting, calling them crisis actors, yeah, fuck you. It doesn't matter what you say. But Chick is throwing haymakers like she always has before. Just this time she's throwing it the other way. We have never seen this before. Never. This is new. Everything is changing. First, we're going to get into my boy, the king of dark woke, Kyle Kulinski, as he's going to really break down like how they're lying to us about this recent assassination attempt. And then we're going to get into Valhalla, and we're going to watch him kind of break down the same thing. But the conversation around Valhalla is completely different because he is who I am kind of like holding up right now as the window into the MAGA fracture. And he is who I'm holding up and will be holding up as my example of the horseshoe effect. How two people on completely opposite ends of the political spectrum can horseshoe and almost be touching an agreement there. It's an interesting theory. I'm going to be really getting into that a lot as we move forward. But let's watch the king of dark woke and what he has to say about the recent shooting.
So Jeanine Pirro is the U.S. attorney for D.C., and so this case falls on her lap, the case of the attempted alleged White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting by a guy named Cole Allen. She went on CNN with Tap Jaker here, and man, she gives us quite a few moments which are kind of shocking. So first, let me show you this one. She just flagrantly lies to everybody's face here. Let's take a listen. Here we go.
In with this Secret Service officer or agent who was shot at the dinner. On Thursday, you said the suspect in the shooting, Cole Allen, quote, fired off that 12-gauge shotgun one time, and, quote, he fired that gun in the direction of the Secret Service officer. Have you been able to determine yet which gun actually hit the Secret Service agent, and will you present that evidence to the public?
Well, we have...
Real quick, I need to go and get one of them one chargers you see all the fucking advertising for. Charges your phone in like 10 seconds. I might have to give me one of them. But has anybody else noticed that, like, phones charge a lot fucking slower? Like, a lot fucking slower. This whole time, I put my phone on the charger probably an hour and a half ago. I've gotten like 20%. Like, what the fuck is that? Now, this is an iPhone 16. It's a newer phone. But what the fuck is that? Why does it take so goddamn long? Especially if it doesn't have to. It drives me insane. I want my phone. You know, I want it to be fully charged. I'm OCD. It fucking bothers me when it's not. And I use my phone in my work. It's gonna drain it. I need my charge. You know.
Been able to determine which gun it was. First of all, there's video of the defendant shooting at the Secret Service agent. There is also the agent who will tell you himself.
Where's that video? We haven't seen that video. We've seen a video, but we haven't seen...
Yeah, and if there is if that video is out there, why haven't we seen it? Right? You know, here's the other, like, nobody trusts it. Like, even their own people don't trust what they say anymore. Right? They'll run with the narrative because they're lapdogs. You know, the 30% of MAGA that they have left, they're lapdogs. They'll run with the narrative, but they don't believe it. Right? Nobody does.
Seen that video. There's no video of Cole Allen actually shooting. There's video of him running through security with a gun. Okay? So right off the bat, kind of sketchy.
There is also the agent who will...
And there's actually new video. It's not new video. It's the old video that they re-released. I think the hotel re-released it in high definition, so we're going to have a better look at it. But they fucked up because they released more of it, and now that just sparks more of the conspiracy. And it's not even really conspiracy. It's like legit. Like, yeah, we pretty much all know that this is what the fuck they did. Who the fuck this guy is, you know, like, I don't know, like, maybe he was legit just a crazy guy trying to get to the president, and maybe they knew about it and they just legit decided to let him take his chance, you know, so they could use this as a story instead of, like, apprehending him before the fact like they should have. You know, who knows what the story is. But they thought that this was going to work for them, and nobody buys it.
Tell you himself that he was shot at, and then he returned the fire. But more importantly, Jake, is the fact that we now can establish that a pellet that came from the buckshot from the defendant's Mossberg pump-action shotgun was intertwined with the fiber of the vest of the Secret.
All right, so there is the blatant lie right there, right? Them going around saying that this dude shot the police officer. It's a lie. And we know it's a lie. And Kyle is going to show you, and so is Valhalla. It's a lie. Why are you lying? The only reason you're lying is because you set it up, because you're the culprit. You're guilty. That's the only reason to lie about it. It's the only reason to make the shooter and Butler just disappear. You know, like nobody knows, nobody talks about him, nobody knows shit about him. Tucker Carlson does something 6 months ago, and here we are today. Tucker Carlson is basically a retard to MAGA. You know, that's I literally hear MAGA, MAGA, what's left of them, call Tucker Carlson a retard. I forgot. I was supposed to wake up my daughter at 9. It sounds like she woke up by herself. I'll be right back. Let me go remind her what she's supposed to do. And I can't say I forgot, although I did forget, because I was supposed to wake her up at 9 o'clock, but she set her own alarm, so it worked out. And I didn't forget because it was 9 o'clock, and I heard her door, and it reminded me. But yeah, that was the first lie. I mean, the actual, like, it's a fucking lie. And Darkwell King's gonna prove it here. And why? And it's easy to know why, because they lost their base to the Epstein files. They lost more of their base to the war in Iran. I think he's come out and said now that he wants to run for 2 more terms. And they're losing their shit. They're losing their fucking mind. They need, it happened. It worked for him in Butler. It won him the presidency if he did win it legitimately. I personally think Elon had his hands on some shit. There's no proof of it. It's conspiracy, but that's what I think. We were all confident election night that Kamala was going to win. All of us, everybody. I think the other side was pretty confident Kamala was going to win, and then she didn't. Now, that's the same line of fucking argumentation that Trump does. But there is proof, there is scientific data that something happened. And I think the only person that could have made it happen was Elon. So, I don't know, that's just me being conspiracy cuckoo theory. Maybe I've been watching too many right-wingers. I've been tapped into America First.
So it's definitively his fault.
I wasn't ready for you. And I think, no, we're not done with you yet. I've always liked to be tapped into what the other side is saying. I stopped doing it when the other side got super, super extreme. At the end of, I'd say probably like the last 5 years of Rush Limbaugh's life. I would listen to Rush occasionally because Rush was usually a pretty good, tap on the Republican Party. I would also listen to Neil Bortz. Neil Bortz was probably my favorite. I think Neil Bortz walked away from it because it was getting too extreme for him. But he was probably my favorite. But I've always tried to keep myself tapped in to the other side. Unfortunately, now the other side is mainly some really, really, really bad people. That's why I like Valhalla the best. He has some beliefs that I don't agree with or approve of, but he seems to be a legitimate good person. He's not a hateful person. The stream that I watched part of last night live, it blew me the fuck away. And I'm going to talk about it once we get to Valhalla, because he surprised me. I thought he was a worse person than he actually is. I just assumed. And you shouldn't assume shit about people. But he surprised the fuck out of me. holy fuck, did he surprise the fuck out of me? I just assumed he probably hated gay people. I don't know why. You shouldn't assume shit about people, but he surprised the fuck out of me. Shit is changing, bro. Everything is changing. I never thought that I would see the day to where I think like we might actually be able to get some shit done. We might be able to get some super majorities if we can kick the Democratic Party in line and get them to actually want to do some shit. We might actually get some shit done. It's fucking. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but there's good potential there for some really good to come out of all of this really, really bad shit that's been happening for the last 10 years. But let's continue with this.
Definitively his bullet. He hit at that Secret Service agent. He had every intention to kill him and anyone who got on his way to the killing the President of the United States. This was a premeditated, violent act calculated to take down the president and anyone who was in the line.
You know, remembering that stream last night of Valhalla, I almost want to just stop talking about this and talk about that. But I think I'm going to try to resist the urge and say that so I can go back and rewatch it, maybe clip out the bit, because there was some parts in that stream that I think are game changers. And we're talking about a right-wing person here, you know, like game changers.
The fire. And you and I were both in that combat zone, and we know what it was like. It was a very dangerous situation. And but for law enforcement and their quick reaction, this thing could have been much worse.
So there's a lie. There's a lie. It was a friendly fire incident. And we have way too many videos that kind of spell that out clearly. So here, let me show you. Look at the bottom left of the screen, the guy with the police jacket here, okay? He's going to pull out his gun and shoot. And if you look at in the back, the three officers leaning against the wall here, it looks like they end up running away after Cole Allen gets through. And I believe the one in the middle gets hit because the shots coming from this police officer are in the direction of these bystanders, these security or law enforcement bystanders. So watch this. Here we go. I'll play it for you. This is slowed down to 35%. The one with police on his back pulls out his gun, starts shooting, misses from point blank range, y'all. Point blank. Misses. Multiple fucking times. Okay? I don't know how many. I want to say it was like 4 to 6 shots, something in there. And so after he misses from point blank range shooting, look, this person in the middle, in the wall in the background goes down. They're down. And then they sort of like start crawling away. The reason why they're down and down again and then running away again. I think the reason why that happened is because that person got hit in their bulletproof vest. And so that hurts you. That takes the wind out of you. That's a shocking experience. So here we have a clear video of a police officer opening fire with many law enforcement officials in the background, one of them seemingly getting hit. And she goes, no, we've proven that it was him shooting the shotgun. What? Well, where's the video of him shooting the shotgun?
All right, so Dark Woke King. Clearly lying, right? Like, and Nate is going to break it down even more than that. So let's get into Nate's video. Nate is Valhalla VFT. I started watching this dude, I want to say about a year ago, when it was the Charlie Kirk shit. So 9 months ago when I was streaming the last time, I just started watching this guy because I was really tuned into the Charlie Kirk assassination and what was happening on the right wing and immediately in the wake of that. And trust me, it has only gotten worse. Nobody trust, and you all see it now. Nobody trusts Erica Kirk. Nobody's even saying Erica Kirk did it, even though she should have been the first person police were looking at. Right? I mean, that's supposed to be how police, investigations into these kind of things happen. You are pretty much going to assume the wife had something to do with it until you take her off the suspect list. Or the husband or whoever, that's just kind of how these things work. But nobody had been even accusing her, and she's coming out now saying like, I didn't kill my husband. Like, nobody said that. Why are you saying that? Now you're making people think that, why are you saying that? But that's when I first started watching Nate here. Now, I've immediately respected the man because, he is former military, not just former military, but former Green Beret. This man has been in the shit. He's seen the things that I talk about with his own eyes. So like I do a lot of anti-war stuff. At least I did back in the day. I kind of got away from that, but anti-war has always been the core of my democratic beliefs. It's the reason I became a Democrat. I used to be a Republican. 9/11 happened. Iraq happened. I became a Democrat. And anti-war became the foundation of everything that I would grow off of politically. I was that guy back then with the 9/11 Commission report. I had several copies that would give you a copy of the 9/11 Commission report and insist that you start reading it in front of me, right? I was that guy. I read the 9/11 Commission report from beginning to end probably 3 different times. I want to find my copy of it that I have left. It's probably in tatters because I've read it so much and preached it so much. But that was me for 2.5 years. All I did was preach the 9/11 Commission report. That was the foundation of my Democratic support. All of my activism grew from it throughout the rest of my life. I started off anti-war, and I'm anti-war to this day. But he's seen that, right? And let me tell you something. This man right here is anti-war. It's the horseshoe effect. It's the horseshoe effect. He's got a lot of different politics than me. But this man has seen a lot of the stuff that I try to relate to you guys. Or at least I used to. And it's what I'm going to be trying to really get back to my core. Because it's what's most important. We are not the police of the world. We should not be sending our own people to die so rich people can get richer. Usually these are not war games, they're oil games. And quite frankly, the entire fucking country is tired of it. We're just tired of it. We're tired of not being able to go to a fucking doctor so you can go play your oil games. We're tired of it. So I started watching this dude because him and Ian Carroll and this segment of ex-military MAGA, they started to call bullshit on the Charlie Kirk shooting immediately. As soon as the 30-06 shit came out, they were like, that ain't it. That ain't it. And as opposed to doing what we've always seen MAGA do, you know, Trump shoots somebody on Fifth Avenue, they turn around to the voting booth and vote for him. Instead of doing that, they got on their YouTube channels and we call bullshit. And that started the fracture. It started before that, and he talks about that in last night's stream. It started before that with the Epstein files. Because, again, this was a person who built his YouTube channel on the Epstein files. So I've been watching this dude ever since. And I've seen him go from quoting Nick Fuentes when I first started watching him. And he'll still quote Nick every once in a while. But I've seen him go from quoting Nick Fuentes to now, in the last several streams, he's quoting Keith Edwards and showing Keith Edwards clips. Yes, like this is the horseshoe effect that I'm seeing. And it's like, wow, I have never seen anything like this before. Last night in this man's live stream, 500, I can't remember how many people were in the chat, but he gets a lot of viewers. A lot of viewers. It could have been thousands. Probably was thousands of people in the side chat. All of them calling Adam Mockler the GOAT. Right-wingers. Right-wingers. America first. Adam Mockler's the GOAT. Scott Jennings a fucking cuck. Like I am flabbergasted. Still, the following morning. Like, what the fuck am I experiencing here? What awakening in this country are we seeing? And he talks about that last night. Like, the country has awoken. So Trump wanted to come out and say woke was dead. Nate is saying woke won. That's a huge turn. So but he's going to go into some detailed depth on the shooting. Let's check out what he has to say.
I mean, he's going after Tucker and Megan and Candace and Alex Jones more than the guys who supposedly are trying to take his life. Again, from the guy that we know holds a bigger grudge than literally anyone, mysteriously has no interest in talking about these guys. Again, pretty bizarre.
I always hit my microphone. It never fails. It never fails. I don't see how short people do it. I'm a tall dude, and I'm hitting my microphone all the fucking time. I got a little more work underneath this arm here.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody. And we've had some pretty wild developments in the White House Correspondents' Dinner debacle, I guess we could call it at this point. And that is that the government released new high-fidelity security footage.
So, again, this is no left-winger. No left-winger. His entire merch brand is America First, right? Like, this is I don't want to call him that because I he would probably get mad. I'll call him Groyper adjacent, right? Now, I don't think he's a Jew hater. I don't think he's racist or none of that. He does talk about how he used to be in the stream before, and he also talks about how the army kind of brainwashed him to be, and it was powerful, bro. It was fucking powerful. Because, you know, if you want people to kill for you, you've got to see them as the enemy, not as a human being. So they are pretty much drill training you into racism and hatred, you know? Like, it was a powerful stream last night, bro. I can't wait to talk about it. Like, I highly recommend you guys check this guy out, especially a stream from last night. And if you're a streamer, cover it. Cover it. And try to be open to it, right? Try to be open to it, because I think it's powerful as fuck. I cannot wait to talk about it. I should have done it today, but I want to actually be prepared. I want to have some points prepared.
It shows us exactly what actually happened, and whether you believe this was real, it was staged, it was security failures. Yeah, this is not good, because what we'll see is that a canine handler police officer was seen talking to Cole Allen literally moments before he rushed through the lobby. We're also going to talk about how odd it is that Donald Trump has literally not said a word about any of the people who've tried to unalive him. He can only talk about the ballroom, which is a little bizarre because this guy will attack literally anyone who's wronged him other than the people who supposedly tried to take his life. Very bizarre. Then we're going to talk about what's going on with the case in the backside of this, because it's very, very odd things happening in the courtroom. So that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Helps the channel. Follow us on Patreon. Grab some America First, America Only merch. Let's jump into it. Let's talk about it. Okay, first thing we're going to do is look at this new security camera footage.
All right, a point to kind of really hammer home just how right-wing Nate is, right? Like, this is no left-winger, although he is. His eyes are open. He's probably apolitical at this point. And I think a lot of us are probably going to become apolitical moving forward, at least briefly, are going to have to become. And apolitical to the sense, like, it's not about, this is no longer about party. We have come to the class war. We have come to the class war. Right. This ain't about party no more. It's not about race. It's about position. And they have all of it. And we have none of it. And man, I am telling you, everything is changing. But just to give you a reflection of how right-wing this man is, this is Candace Owens' right wing, right? Or he was. But I'm pretty sure that he's personal friends with Candace. Like, they are allies in this America First split, right? Like, that, just a little reflection of the world we are living in now. Now, Candace Owens is the biggest grifter in the world. He doesn't know her like I know her. You know, he only knows right-wing Candace Owens. You know, yeah, been in those conspiracy circles for a while. But yeah, that's how right wing this guy was, and he is coming a long way, man. I never expected it.
Oh boy, and break it down together and see if we can come to a conclusion on, was this obviously the most staged shit we've ever seen in our lives, or is this just the biggest security failure in law enforcement and Secret Service history? Because it's going to be one of the two. All right, so for some context here, what we're going to be looking at. All right, we've all seen the really grainy, shitty security footage that was released right away. Then there was that AI slop that was put out by Benny Johnson and the administration via CapCut. But this is actually different high-fidelity camera footage from the actual hotel, as far as I know at this point, because this is going viral right now. All right, so now what we're looking at, we've all seen, the original footage.
All right, yeah, so this footage right here is clear as fuck, right? Like... This shit, like, you are gonna see what the fuck happened, and that they are fucking lying.
Of him racing through, but we can actually see what happens before he comes out of that door, which is not what the administration showed us up until now. Let's take a look. All right, so this is actually something we haven't seen before, and that is the footage rolled back just a little bit before what we're used to seeing, and that is where we can see the suspect literally walking into this side room, which looks like maybe a bag. Hard to tell, but again, right in front of about 10 law enforcement officers, already showing how strong the security is, but then let's watch what happens next. We can start to see here literally a canine with the dog handler right behind him follows the suspect into the room. And see, the dog goes all the way in, is what we can see here. Now, it's a little hard. We'll zoom in. He is literally talking to the suspect. You can see he's in a conversation with the suspect right now. The dog is very interested in what's going on. And he just turns around and walks off. Literally seconds after this happens, we see the suspect rush. And there he goes. This is super...
Clear as fuck, bro. Clear as fuck. All right? You can, and he's going to break it down. And another thing I want to mention of his strain, just offhanded, like I was shocked. These right wingers in that chat last night were praising Hasan Piker, defending Hasan Piker's speech. I can't tell you how many comments I saw. Like, I don't like Hasan, but Hasan is right. Like, I was like, wow. Fucking unbelievable. He's about to really break this shit down, though.
Super important, because we talked about this before, and that is, had some serious questions about the suspect shooting a law enforcement officer in the chest with a shotgun and buckshot. Somehow the officer was completely fine. That didn't make a whole lot of sense to us, but...
I'm pretty sure Nate ran a poll in the side chat, like, who was right, Hasan Piker and or somebody else, can't remember who it was, and I think it was like 80-something% of this dude's side chat said Hasan Piker was right.
What we can actually see here, look at this. This is a gun being fired. We know Cole Allen was not hit by any bullets. Where is this gun pointed? Directly at all of these officers. Now, if we zoom the beginning of this in a little bit more, we can literally see him.
He's going to get into it.
The suspect.
He's literally pointing right at the guy that got shot, and they're still trying to say that the shooter did it. You know,
dog walks out.
Or that the guy did it. I don't even think you can call him a shooter if he didn't take a shot.
You can see him talking to him. Looks like he's smiling. Dog's concerned, and they walk off. Seconds later. So, what does this mean? Well, what?
Like, that is insane. You guys see that? Like, even if none of this was staged, they just go out of their way to make it look like it, and it feeds the fuel. And when you build a base on conspiratorial lies, and then you do a bunch of shit that's gonna breed conspiracy, guess what's gonna happen? It's beautiful. It's beautiful. They took this hand, smacked everybody in the face with conspiracy for 30 fucking years, and now this hand is raping them in the ass. It's beautiful. It's fucking beautiful.
What this means is, again, one of two things just happened. They literally just allowed him.
Yeah, you literally see the muzzle fire from officer to officer.
Again, the worst failure in security I think I've ever seen in my life. Keep in mind, this isn't even outside security perimeter or anything like that. This is in the hotel. He runs out of that room and then immediately runs down the escalator and is one room away from where the president and the entire line of succession of the government is. What I also see here is that it starts to look like the reason why we haven't seen that police officer come out.
And I haven't looked into that because a lot of people have been saying that. that the entire line of succession was in that room. And if that's true, that's breach of protocol like we've never seen before. You're supposed to like the TV show Soul Survivor is based on it. It's based on it, right?
Out and give an interview about what happened. The one who was shot was...
I think that was the name of the Kiefer
It
Sutherland.
looks like he was shot by another officer.
Where he becomes
Now, some of
president
things I
because
find
the entire
interesting
line
about
of
this as
succession
compared to,
but
let's say,
him
the
because they keep
Charlie
the
Kirk
one person
investigation is, man,
segregated
we literally got
in those events.
everything on this guy within minutes. We had known. We knew who he was. We knew where he went to school. We knew things he was doing back in 2014 with NASA projects. They released his manifesto. They showed us the weapons used. We still haven't seen the actual rifle used by Tyler Robinson by the FBI 9 months later. But they were so quick to show us everything here. Look at this picture they released. I mean, they got selfies of this guy in the hotel. Here he is. Again, we can see all the things that he was carrying. And look at this. They released all of this actual evidence for the public to see. We still haven't even seen the shell casings from the Tyler Robinson case. So again, it gets a little bit weird to me when in one case you won't show me anything, and in another case you will freely show the American public all of the footage, evidence, manifestos, selfie pictures, his entire background. But again...
So again, like, all of it can be legit, but just the way that you go about your business, nobody can trust anything you fucking say. And when you've built a political structure on conspiracy, what did you think was going to happen?
Donald Trump has not said a word about this since it happened other than to call for the ballroom. Now, things are getting very bizarre as the trial is almost already underway. And the judge, who has now placed him on...
And I will say, yeah, one thing, Theo, I will say, like, I think it's become very apparent. Even when government is functioning as it should, we the people need to be goddamn a lot more aware of it than we have been. Now, I've been a person that's been going around, you know, like trying to promote what governments could be, right? Like what our government could be. You know, that American dream that just sometimes it seems like we're so close we can almost grasp it. Like we're almost there as a society, but then it just keeps floating away. Who's texting me? I hate, my phone should just look at my face and it just takes too long. I don't like it. My old phone was quicker. Who's texting me? Oh, yeah. My phone wants its money. I got to pay that today. And it made me lost my track of thought. Let's go.
On a live watch, great. We know how that goes. And also was apologizing to him for the way he's been treated. Very bizarre. I'm sorry, the judge told Al.
So yeah, Theo, it's like, yeah, I think that we can't just, and I've always said this, while trying to promote like what our government could be, and even like, you know, our government isn't all bad. Right, like there are some people in government that try to stay true to their principle. You know, Bernie Sanders and Thomas Massey, I would say, are two of those people. But generally, like I just think that we need to be a little more distrustful than we have been. You know, like even in this era, like I've spoken on it a few times, and I always kind of like, even as small as I am, it only take it. I already assume the FBI is watching me, but you know, we only talk about the FBI. We never talk about what the CIA is doing. Now, I have to imagine, like, not even Trump is so inept as to put Kash Patel and Dan Bongino as head of the FBI without a reason. And the fact that the FBI has become a meme, I think is intentional and very strategic. And what the fuck are the CIA doing? I mean, maybe they're doing what we're seeing here. I'm just saying. Because, you know, one thing we do know about the CIA is that they hate left-wing governments. They hate left-wing. It's like ingrained in their organization. It's what they've done for 60, 70 fucking years.
On whatever you've been through, I apologize for that now. A federal judge apologizing to the would-be suspect. It just all feels real performative, all of it. But let's just say this was, again, a massive security failure, because if it wasn't staged, then we can see 100% right now, literally from that security footage, that this was, again, the most pathetic security ever provided for a president. But what did the White House administration have to say? Well, they didn't quite get their messaging right between the administration and all the paid shills. I'll show you that here in a second. But here's what Todd Blanche had to say about this.
We are investigating this matter fully. We will apply the law fairly, and we will ensure that accountability is swift and certain. But we also should recognize what did not happen. Law enforcement did not fail.
Oh, wait, you what? Law enforcement didn't fail. They literally let a dude come to the hotel a day before, check in with a bunch of weapons, didn't check anything about him, and then literally let him just run through the lobby. And you're telling me security didn't fail? Now, that's interesting, because once this new footage came out, well, the new MAGA talking points all of a sudden changed. Now, of course, the paid shills with their coordinated talking points, again, they don't even try to make these look different, which is so bizarre to me. It's very easy for everybody to tell that you guys are all being told to post the same thing. Tatum comes out and says, massive failure with the sirens. The canine dog alerted the handler just before Cole Allen ran through security and charged straight for the president. Huh. So it was a massive failure. Again, didn't get our talking points right. Oh, this one looks familiar. It's almost word for word copy pasted from Graham Allen, who again has been caught running paid smeared campaigns against Candace Owens before, says it was a security failure. A canine dog alerted the handler just before Cole Allen ran through the security and charged at the president. Oh, that's literally the exact same thing with the exact same video that Tatum posted, and a bunch of them posted the exact same thing. As always, we're getting used to seeing this. Now, again, I also really want to dig home, because this is very bizarre to me, that Donald Trump, who again will not let any slight against him ever go unchecked, refuses to say a word about Thomas Crooks or Butler or now Cole Allen, other than to, again, build the ballroom. And friendly reminder, this is the type of shit he says all day, every day. I mean, he's going after Tucker and Megan and Candace and Alex Jones more than the guys who supposedly are trying to take his life. Again, from the guy that we know holds a bigger grudge than literally anyone, mysteriously has no interest in talking about these guys.
All right. Let's go back up here. So yeah, I'm gonna be really looking at this. I'm thinking about really breaking this down, the split and division. I'd have to go back, look at a lot of stuff, and hopefully I don't catch another strike doing it. I've never looked at Ian Carroll on this channel, but this split is fascinating. Now, a lot of these people, again, are Groyper adjacent. But I think there's a lot of good work to be done here, because, again, that horseshoe effect, we are intertwining. And with people like Nate now coming out and talking about, just how, they were brainwashed into hatred, right, by the United States military. I think a lot of conversations are about to be had. And I think that there's a chance to really maybe pull some white supremacists away from their hate. Now, I'm not trying to, by any imagination, link that to Nate there. I think Nate has done a great job of bringing himself out of whatever hatreds he used to hold. And I'm just more and more impressed with him, even though I know I disagree with probably a lot of the politics he's in. There's a lot of things that we're starting, way more than when I first started watching this guy, that we're starting to intertwine with. So I see, and I guess ultimately that's my message today is, it seems hard. It's especially hard for me. I'm out on the road. I'm in my car most of the day to make my money. Gas is really high. Food costs too much. It's really hard right now. We've experienced the bloodying of our hands in Gaza, or at least for the first time, a lot of Americans started to notice the blood on their hands, because we've always had blood on our hands. I've talked about it here. You know, you can go back to our original sins as a nation, the genocide of Native American people, the original sin being slavery. I should clarify that. Don't need to with you guys, but should clarify that. And then the genocide with the Native American peoples, our treatment of minorities, our lack of living up to our ideals from our inception. We have lived in this experience, and it's been crazy for all of us. It gets hard. It gets hard to deal with it. Sometimes it's just like, why? You know, why even keep trying? You know, this movement in Italy, I don't know if many have heard about it. I wish more knew about it. And I'm not sure if it's still going on. It's another thing I want to really talk about on this channel. I need to get my facts straight on it. And like, I don't even know if it's still going on, but, you know, Italy just stopped. They just stopped going to work. They just stopped going to the grocery store, going to the store. They just stopped. And I think it worked. And it's something that, like, I don't think the powerful ever thought that anybody would do. You just stop. You go, you stock up for a few weeks, and you don't go to work. Nobody goes to work. You don't go to the store. Nobody goes to the store. The world is changing. So in the midst of this insanity, and I've always tried to do this. Like, I've always tried to find the bright side. Even in my darkest days, even in the worst of my drunkenness, I try to find the bright side in things. In all this insanity that we are living in right now, in the background, some things are starting to actually heal. And some wounds are being exposed that need to be healed. And people are waking up to it. And like I said earlier in the stream, and I see great potential from this disaster we're in right now. I also see great potential for great good to come of this disaster we're in right now. I also see great potential for great harm. I've also spoken, like, for the first time in my life, it's an actual legitimate possibility that I'd not only be put to death for my beliefs, but I actually be burned at the stake for them. Like, it's a possibility. It can happen. I'm an atheist. I have denounced God, and there's an element of this fascist struggle we're dealing with that wants theocracy. And under theocracy, I'm one of the first to go. Me, gay people, trans people, you know, like, we're atheists, gay people, trans people. We're the first that's going to, like, legitimately probably be killed. Black people go back to the fields. Like, you know, like, that's the worst case scenario of the other side of it. Great potential for that. Great potential for that. Despite all of that, though, I would say, like, look at that potential for the great good. This awakening that's happening, if it happens the right way, then the world can change for the better. It's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. Fortunately, I've been poor my whole life. Poor people, we know how to adapt. We'll probably be fine. I mean, a lot of us are going to die, you know, if shit goes sideways. A lot of us are probably already dying from lack of health care and whatnot. But outside of that, outside of health conditions, we'll probably adapt and be fine. We've had to do it for a very long time. A lot of people in this country have lived some really comfortable lives. Are they going to know how to adapt? But the positive as I'm trying to focus on here, is that great potential for good, that great potential for change, much needed change. What's that old song? Change gonna come, change gonna come. The other one was the revolution will not be televised. It'll happen in our homes. But the kind of weird thing about today's society is what happens in our homes gets televised. Y'all have a good day.